everyone, and welcome to Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. I am Carol Kearns. My husband, Harry Shue, is our co-host. Our mission for the show is twofold: to provide information about Connecticut Lions events and to showcase the many different organizations and causes that Lions support locally, regionally, and internationally. Harry?
Good evening and welcome. Please consult our website at www.lions23b.org or your district spirit for more information on coming events.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry.
Welcome back to a presentation by Johnny Cooper from Lions Clubs International Foundation about our great foundation. And please consider making a personal donation to the Lions Clubs International Foundation. It's one of the best in the world. Just go to our website, lionsclubs.org, and hit the donate button. So on with the show.
On Evo?
I like to think about the ways Lions can get involved with the three ways, the three T's. It's time, it's talent, and it's treasure. At LCI, I've been talking about that service is much more than just doing. Service is giving and doing. It's being 100% and trying to impact the organization from every direction. It's the time we give, it's the talent we bring to these opportunities, and it's the treasure that we can support the organization with. A few things about recognition. In your folder, you also have a recognition sheet. Some folks in here have a few pins on their vests. I saw a few pins out on the tables in the hallway, too. We know recognition is very important to the culture of Lions, and we've built a very robust recognition program around support for Campaign 100. We're very, very excited about it. So in your folders, you can see the pins. You get a base pin. Once you reach $100 cumulative giving for Campaign 100, you'll get the base pin. It says Campaign 100 Donor. And each time you hit a milestone on that graph, you'll receive a rocker that goes on that pin to indicate your level of service, or excuse me, your level of giving. All contributions that you make to Campaign 100 go toward Melvin Jones Fellowship credit. Individual donors receive the campaign recognition I mentioned. If you decide to give each and every month, you'll get additional recognition. So you can go into our website and say, I'm going to give $2 every week, I'm going to give $8.33 every month, I'm going to give $50 every month. Whatever your capacity, whatever is meaningful to you, you can do that automatically each and every month, so you never have to think about it again. All you can do is have more and more impact each and every time that transaction is withdrawn. You can do it by debit, by credit, you can also do it by automatic debit from your checking account on our website. We have additional new club recognition for this campaign. If 100% of members in your club donate a minimum of $100 on a given year to LCIF, you'll be recognized as a 100-100 club, and you'll have a special banner patch with pins for your members. Additionally, model clubs and progressive model clubs will have recognition as well, inclusive of recognition on stage at International Convention, banner patches, and various recognitions at forums throughout your constitutional area. This is an example of the pin that I mentioned. So this top portion is the base pin, and this banner below is the rocker, and that will change at every incremental level of giving that you achieve. I mentioned these aspects earlier. 100% of every dollar gets donated, that's donated goes directly to programs. One new program that you may have heard about is the District and Club Community Impact Grant Program. How many have heard of this? Good. All right. So next time I come back, I want every hand to go up. This is a very valuable program that we've instituted. For whatever you give to LCIF, if you meet a certain threshold, you're eligible for 15% of those donations for that amount in a grant back to you to do whatever you want in terms of your humanitarian service in your communities. So if your club raised $5,000 last year, you get 15% of that back the next year. These funds are available for 15 years. So you can stockpile that money if you have an intention to do a large-scale project down the road. All right? Now these funds are also available to the districts. If your districts have a big project in mind, the club can decide we're going to defer our money to the district. So you can all work together to have a much larger impact. So now I want to give you an opportunity to change the world. In each of your folders there is a pledge form. I'd like for you to take that and consider the contribution that you'd like to make to LCIF and to Campaign 100. On there are instructions to return those pledge forms. You can give them to your LCIF club coordinator. You can give them to your district coordinator. You can mail them in or email them. This is a way for you to make a contribution to support Campaign 100. And yes, sir, you have a question.
Yes.
Good time.
Governors, I think members of the Government Can I order this packet from International? Bear with me.
Yes, so the question was, as district governor or any volunteer capacity, if you're going out to speak to Lions, can you order those packets? Yes. We have an order form that you can submit to LCIF to tell us, I'd like this many of this document, this many of this document. If in that folder you think, I only want the brochure or the model club commitment form, we'll send you those absolutely. And I get this question a lot, so we're trying to figure out a little bit how to address this a bit more directly. Because the nature of our work is to accept on a quarterly basis project proposals from Lions to then fund with grants, we're not entirely sure exactly what projects are under the list of diabetes because many of them haven't been created yet. So what we can do is give you some examples of things that are happening, but we don't know what's going to be coming down the line. So we have to manage that a little delicately when publishing lists of projects, because at any given point, if you make a donation to a project, it could be fully funded. So what we're hoping is that we can raise money into these cause areas so that it's available for specific projects that you want to implement in your areas. And that's where the advocacy piece comes in. So I mentioned Lions can give in many ways. They can support LCIF and get involved in many ways. It's donating, it's volunteering, but it's advocating. Advocacy is very, very important. So when you're out there talking to Lions, talk about LCIF. But more importantly, let's talk about the grant opportunities that are available to each and every one of you. LCIF is looking for solid, impactful grant proposals for projects from each and every one of you. So if you come up with an idea, send those to us, because that's how we can develop these lists of projects to fund. Are there any other questions?
Hey, John. The video on the disaster relief project for Hurricane Harvey, I believe it was,
Yes.
is that also available on the LCI website?
It should be available on the Resource Center, the new website that's coming out in about a week.
Because the reason I'm asking is we see such fabulous small little videos, even those YouTube-sized ones.
Right.
But where do you see them? They're not sent out to the major networks to do a PSA on it, and I don't know why that is, but that's the kind of info. All we hear about is the Red Cross with disaster relief. We never hear about Lions. And we're there, and we're still there in all these projects when the Red Cross are long gone. But we're not getting that press, and I think maybe it's up to Lions to produce the press and give it to the press instead of expecting them to come and cover us. And that was a great video. To show Lions working, all the impact, and that's the, you don't see it unless you're a Lion.
And part of, just briefly, thank you. We're singing the same song. I really believe in exactly what you're saying. And part of my work in building out the campaign is, how do we publicize this
Yes.
campaign? So one of the important things that we're doing is producing more and more videos like this to recognize your work and to publicize this so that people know what we're doing. It's my belief that we're one of the best kept secrets in the world in terms of disaster response. So
Johnny, on behalf of the New England Lions Council, I present to you a certificate for coming. I've already passed on your maple nips and a couple of postcards for Vermont. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. We're celebrating Team Night. Go Nittany Lions.
State.
Go State. Penn State. That's where I received my master's in French.
So we heard from Johnny Cooper this afternoon. He did an excellent job. And tonight, it's all about fun and games. So we are looking forward to that. We've also have signed up for a steak dinner, I do believe, Carol. So I am looking forward to that as well. How about you?
Absolutely.
On with the show.
En avant. Go team.
Okay, we're going to be singing here. We did the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Now we're doing This Land Is My Land. Oh, we've got all kinds of people. Ready? This land is my land, from California to the New York Islands, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that rhythm highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. Your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Yeah, yeah. Good job.
District Governor Liz. Where are you, District Governor Liz? Can we have a repeat performance at our fall conference?
Oh, yes, please.
Leading us in the Lions Toast is District Governor Neil Iverson from District 41. Only a Mainer could do that.
I'd like to invite you to join me in toasting to the greatest service organization in the world, Lions International, and all your fellow Lions here as we prepare to go back to our community. Not
Above you, not beneath you, but with you.
I would like to introduce our guest speaker tonight. I will not go into particulars other than his son plays for Mount Mansfield Junior High School football, one of the enemies of St. Johnsbury Academy, but we won't get into that. But I'd like to introduce Jeff Kolak and his wife Natalie, here from SLAN T1D. I'd like to introduce past International Director Ed Lecius and his wife Lionel Lane. Past International Director Ed Farrington and his wife Lionel Lane. Past International Director Tom Broughton and his wife Charlene. I would like to ask all the district governors in the audience, please rise. I want to say thank you for your service this year. And will my fellow Vice District Governors for next year please rise? Or first Vice District this year. I would like to ask one dangerous question. Do we have any rookies attending a New England Lions Council meeting weekend for the first time being here? Please rise. Now, I'd like to introduce the board members who are here. First, we have our Secretary-Treasurer, past District Governor Bill Donnellan. We have immediate past Council Chair George Cooper. We have Director Mary Ann Hutchins. And Director Michelle Crawford. And if you don't know who I am by now, I'm Council Chair Ken Emery. And I always hate introducing myself. I'd like to offer a certificate of appreciation to past District Governor Tony Olden and past Cabinet Secretary Carol Green. And the last two I'd like to present. These two ladies did a fantastic job for our nephrology service. I'd like to present a certificate of appreciation to past District Governor Mary Souza and past District Governor Shirley Julia. Now, as not we have no fun yet today. So I got one lady who's going to come up, maybe see if we can do a laugh a little bit. We have a couple of icebreaker activities we're going to do. We'll do one now, a little bit later on. And this lady says, I challenge her to make everybody laugh. Whether we can do that or not, we're going to find out. Immediate past District Governor Deb Crassi, please come forward. The challenge is on.
So, as you were walking in, you got the question of the day. Did everybody get an answer? Yes. Yeah. Maybe. Nobody. Now, there were some tough ones. So, who was the one who got the reptile? Who won the reptile? I know who she is. No, and I know who the answer was. And the interesting thing is, the bartender was the answer on that question. But so there were some tough ones. Who thinks they got the toughest question? What did you get?
What was it? What is a muntjac? And I did find a person that explained to me what a muntjac is.
Anybody else know what's a muntjac? What's a muntjac?
A couple of people Googled it.
Yeah? And your answer was?
District Governor Liz from Vermont.
Yeah?
Where is Liz? Tell them what a muntjac is.
A muntjac is a small deer, quite small.
Right? So how many see you're learning something, right? Yeah? And I got a lot of you are really now to do this. But it was fun, and did you meet somebody new? Right? And did you have a chance to chat with somebody else? Yes. And that's what it's about, getting to know other people, finding out what people are doing in other states, and speaking of which, brings us around to icebreaker number 2. Which is on your table. There are only 2 questions. 2 questions, and it's just chat amongst yourselves. There are a total of 4 questions. But after the speaker today, we're going to chat a little bit about and what's going on in your lives. So any questions about the someone, find someone? I know Sandy was the one with green eyes and blonde hair.
Oh, yeah, well, she just went out.
She's right here. So, all right, thank you
Oh, there
very,
was
very
another
much.
one, Carol.
Carol, too? No?
How's it going?
That's right.
All right. Dessert will be served, but to continue, I want to be out of here by 9 o'clock, because I know a lot of you go to sleep by 9:30, right? No? Okay. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. I think some of you have received this program that talks about him, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the first 2 lines. Jeff Kolak, Dad, CEO, Commissioner. Jeff Kolak from SLAM T1D.
I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to step away from that, kind of get a little closer to all of you. First, I want to introduce my wife, 27 years, and co-founder of SLAM T1D, Natalie Kolak. She's the real power behind all of this. So Ken had asked me to come after he had attended one of our events, and I'll get into that a little later. He had asked me to come speak to you folks about our organization, what we do, and specifically about the disease we battle, which is type 1 diabetes. And I think one thing that was apropos about all of this is that as I was walking around a little bit distributing some of these programs and the bracelets, one of the members here asked, Ken, I think, was handing out the program, said, "Oh, are you spreading joy? Spreading some joy?" And it occurred to me that this is what you folks do, right? You spread joy in all of your communities by the kinds of things that you do, the events and the projects that you support and undertake. And I felt that we were perfectly aligned with what the Middlebury Lions Club does with us. Hopefully I'll be able to convince more of you to join us in what we do. But that we were perfectly aligned missionally. Our battle happens to be helping people with type 1 diabetes, but you do such a vast and varied, play such a vast and varied role in all the projects that you undertake, and I just wanted to just salute you for that, because it's beyond impressive. So a little bit about us before I get into SLAM T1D. My wife Natalie and I live in Jericho, Vermont, a little hamlet outside of Burlington, Vermont, up in the northwest corner of the state. And in 2005, we have 3 children. Our oldest is now 24 years old, and our 2 youngest are soon to be 18. They're both 17 and change. In 2005, our daughter Johanna was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, we didn't know anything about, is a lethal, life-altering autoimmune disease for which there's currently no cure. It can't be prevented. It's often confused with and misunderstood. It's often confused with a very serious chronic condition, type 2 diabetes. We've heard the comments innocently made about, oh, she has the more severe kind of diabetes. Oh, that's the bad diabetes. Yes, it's bad. Yes, it's severe. But she's doing great. Every year, there are, in the order of 40,000 people newly diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, about 110 or 120 a day. 80% of those people are under 20. The disease used to be called juvenile diabetes because the majority of people diagnosed with the disease and with the onset of the disease are younger people. As I said, Johanna was diagnosed at 4.5. Natalie and I thought it was just a flu or something she was just some kind of bizarre growth spurt that she was going through. When we took her to the pediatrician, on the way to the pediatrician, We were actually thinking we were just going to get her maybe a flu medication, some cough syrup, and a regimen for the next 24 hours. And we were in the midst of getting ready to celebrate our oldest daughter's birthday. And that was, I think that was a Friday when we took Johanna to the doctors. When I say the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes is life-altering, it is truly that. When the doctor came in and said, well, we've tested her urine, we just want to now test her blood. And then they didn't come back right away. We knew something wasn't right. When the doctor came back in, and he said, we're certain that Johanna has type 1 diabetes. She's going to be okay, but you've got to get in your car right now and get to the hospital. We've called ahead, and they're waiting for you. All of that, the part of that explanation, she's going to be okay, we didn't hear. We heard, we've got to get to the hospital. Probably could have been nailed for 10 or 15 speeding tickets between the doctor's office and the hospital, but we got there safely, we got her there. Her blood sugar was a little under 800 milligrams per deciliter. To give you an idea, for those of us who don't have type 1 diabetes or don't have type 2 diabetes, our normal blood sugar is between 70 to 100 to 110 milligrams per deciliter. She was in diabetic ketoacidosis. The ketone level that she was in was about, I think it was 5.2. Normal ketone level, when we spill ketones when we get the flu, ketones are kind of like the body's battery acid, not good. It'll start shutting things down, and within hours it could kill you. The normal range would be 0.1, 0.2. That's when we're not feeling so well. Hers again was 5.2.
Well, Carol, that is a very inspiring story from CEO Jeff Kolak of Slam T1D about his daughter's diabetes, isn't it?
It certainly is. Very touching.
We'll come back next week for more of Jeff. That'll do it for this episode of Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed our show this evening. Tune in next week for another Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. Good night.
Bye-bye.